Weeks ago, during a congressional meeting, several congresswomen got into a childish catfight, name calling and loud, rude, obnoxious towards each other, and the whole situation was avoidable. Folks, whenever you let yourself become frustrated, impatient, or offended, it increases the likelihood that you're going to say or do things that will escalate a situation. And Congresswoman Green is the one that started this all. She got to the point where now she felt that the right thing to do was to make derogatory, condescending, demeaning comments towards another congressional colleague. Very unnecessary, very unprofessional, but it could have ended there because everyone could have just ignored her. She was reprimanded, she was called out on it, and it could have ended there. But a few moments later, Congresswoman Crockett had allowed herself to become so offended by what Congresswoman Green had said that she ended up making derogatory, demeaning, condescending comments, clearly referencing Green. And of course, the two of them kicked off and sparked off. And AOC, I think, from what I read, also jumped in there. So we got three women, loud, rude, obnoxious toward each other, very uncalled for, very unprofessional. And this country deserves better in its leaders. I mean, look at what's going on. Folks, whenever you allow yourself to become frustrated, impatient, or offended, you increase the likelihood that you're going to say or do something that escalates the situation. This lady, Representative Green, starts making demeaning, condescending, rude, unprofessional comments. She was called out on it. It could have ended and should have ended right there. And she would have been the only one to go on record as being unprofessional and doesn't play nice with others. But when Congresswoman Crockett allowed herself to also become so offended and frustrated and impatient with the remarks that Green made, that she now had to say something. And then AOC had to say things. And now this whole thing absolutely sparked off. Folks, there's also no law, rule, regulation, or policy that says you shall, you will, you must engage with someone who's being a knucklehead. You can be nice, you can agree to disagree, and you can walk away. And the whole situation would not have escalated to the point that it did. I unfortunately, I saw a couple comments later by Crockett, Representative Crockett, and she defended herself, saying that she will match energy with anyone, and that she was elected, and she is certainly going to defend herself. Folks, that type of mentality and attitude is going to struggle with effective and successful conflict de-escalation because that type of person is not going to know when to pick the battles and not know when to just shut up, and will always, more likely than not, end up, like in this situation, end up saying or doing something that escalates a situation. Never is it advisable, encouraged to match energy. This is why parents are taught to stay calm and not match the energy of their child who's throwing a temper tantrum. This is why this is why social workers and clinicians and all that working with people with mental illness and so on do not match the energy. They stay calm and they stay in self-control and so on. This matching the energy crap, that is more likely than not going to escalate a situation. But there are people out there like Crockett who believe that's the thing to do. They're going to match energy for energy. I personally have never seen a situation with two people yelling and screaming just work itself out. That's just me. I personally do not recommend, encourage, or promote matching energy. Do not, do not become loud, rude, obnoxious just because the other person is. Maintain that self-discipline, maintain that situational awareness, maintain a low, calm tone of voice, or just walk away. You don't have to engage. And again, you know what's sad about this is that there are people watching this behavior as they've been over the last 10 years, and they're learning from it. It is a scientific, measurable, proven thing, phenomena going back decades, that children, even in the animal kingdom, learn by watching their parents, mimicking their parents, copying their parents. They learn by watching not only their parents, but people in positions of leadership, people that they hold in high regard, people that they consider have credibility. And this is why this country deserves so much better in its leaders, because I did not see proper leadership demonstrated by these three women. These people are acting this way, and there are people watching this behavior and learning and reinforcing and affirming and validating to themselves that, yep, that's the way I need to behave when I'm frustrated, impatient, or offended, or I don't get my way. Just to act a fool. Again, Green was called out by whoever the chairperson that was running the congressional meeting, but it was Crockett who lost self-discipline and professional decorum, and then sparked off things. Green was definitely already in the wrong by letting herself begin to make derogatory comments. Folks, it has never been promoted, encouraged, or taught in any type of leadership school or any type of business school to call your colleague, opponent, customer, client rude, derogatory, demeaning, condescending names and use derogatory comments and words. That's never been taught or promoted. Zig Ziglar, the grandfather of it all, wrote the book How to Influence Friends. How to make friends and influence people, and now currently John Maxwell, the guru for leadership and all that. I can promise you, they're not promoting, encouraging, or promoting this type of behavior, name calling and stuff like that. That is not the right thing to do. So, folks, this whole situation could have been mitigated, could have been avoided if everyone had just taken a moment, allowed themselves to take a moment to just calm down, take a breath, and not allow themselves to become so frustrated, impatient, or offended that they start running at the mouth and calling people names. And there you go. Don't do it. Be nice. Agree to disagree. Walk away. This country deserves better than its leaders.